Over the next few minutes, we'll be providing you with some insights on how we use UCAS references at King's, and also provide you with a few tips on what we look for in helpful UCAS references. We regularly get asked by both teachers and students about whether the reference is really that important to the UCAS application process. The answer is most certainly yes, but the level of that importance will vary on the course being applied for, the stage at which the application is within the process, and the individual student themselves. On average, the reference will be absolutely essential for around 10% of students, those high flyers who are applying to the most competitive courses and universities, and for students whose academic grades may not truly reflect their potential for reasons beyond their control. Even for the remaining 90%, the reference has the potential to become very important during the confirmation, clearing and adjustment period, especially for those students who haven't quite achieved the grades they were hoping for. At this point, a fantastic personal statement and supporting reference can be the difference between having their conditional offer made unconditional or unsuccessful. But what are we looking for in a reference that will help convince us to make an offer to your students? The best references demonstrate a team effort with reflections from subject teachers who know the student best and an editor who has pulled all these reflections together into one consistent piece of prose. Ideally, the reference should reflect the personal statement. For example, further insights on an activity or piece of work the student has already discussed in the personal statement could be of real benefit to the overall application and provide us with further context. And like the personal statement, the reference should be specific to the course or subject area the student is applying for. Finally, we are looking for the reference to apply the same rules you would advise your students on their personal statement. For every point you make, you should provide further detail and back it up with evidence. The first paragraph should incorporate a short introduction about your school or college of no more than a sentence or two. This could include details on intake, environment, or anything else you think we should know that will provide us with further context on the student. Is the student from a widening participation background, or do they receive an academic scholarship from your school? Did they do their GCSEs, A-levels, IB, or other qualifications early? And does this student have any extenuating circumstances that we need to be aware of? The bulk of the reference, between 60 and 80%, should focus on the student's academic skill and potential to study their course of choice. Does their attainment in mock exams, AS or standard level exams really reflect their ability? How do they compare within their year or even nationally? And thinking about their potential to study at university, are they motivated to learn? Are they capable of independent study? Are they able to present an argument? Can they talk confidently in class? Are they good at problem solving? And probably the most important of all, have they shown improvement and progression in their studies? Subject teachers should aim to write twice as much as they might think they should to give the editor more to work with. Editors should then look to weight each subject section according to the course being applied to, placing the most relevant first and less detail on the less relevant subjects. We also want to hear your reflections on the applicant's suitability and interest in the course itself. For example, if they are applying for modern languages, have they visited the country or been involved in local cultural groups or communities? With science and engineering, is their maths good enough? Have they worked to obtain relevant work experience if they are applying for healthcare courses, especially medicine and dentistry? Can a prospective English student critically appraise a text, or does a future historian understand the use of sources? And if applying for psychology, does that student understand the scientific as well as the human side? At King's, we're also interested in non-academic information too, particularly the applicant's interpersonal skills and other relevant qualities. You could tell us how they have responded to being placed in important positions of responsibility. Have they discussed their career aspirations with you, and what are your thoughts on this? There are many things to consider when writing effective UCAS references. Here are our top tips to make the process as easy as possible for you and your colleagues. Number 1, write twice as much to ensure that the editor has enough to work with. Number 2, like the personal statement, make sure you provide detail on each point you make and back it up with evidence. And number 3, focus on the course or subject area the student has applied for and try to tailor your comments accordingly where possible. And here are our top 3 tips for editors. Number 1, place the most relevant information and subjects first and weight them according to the course being applied for. Number 2, avoid filling the word limit with unnecessary statements about the student or information already on the form. And number 3, once complete, get the applicant to fact check and sign off the final reference to ensure that everything included is accurate and no vital information has been missed out.